Hi, everybody. This is Erica Alora from ericaalora.com, and today we are doing part 2 of the Releasing Your Ex, Clearing and Healing. And I really wanted to go deeper on this subject when I received so many email messages about how much the first clearing really seemed to help and lighten some of the energies that you've been holding on to. But what I received in terms of messages was a lot of conveying a real disappointment and a real feeling of heartbreak about coming together with someone that you really thought was your soulmate, that you really thought was the right person. That feeling of, oh, finally, I got it right. Finally, I met the right match. And what I want to tell you is that from the perspective of your soul, who always wants to evolve and learn and expand and grow, it was the right person. It was the perfect person. In terms of your agenda of having a long-term, loving, supportive relationship, it wasn't the right person, but there was growth, there was evolution. And what I want to look at is some of the reasons why you might come together with someone in order to learn love, in order to learn compassion, in order to learn forgiveness, and you feel like it just degenerates into a mess, or you are playing out experiences of being betrayed over and over again, or it feels like it's the same type of person. It's a different face, it's a different human being, but it feels like you're dealing with the same man again or the same woman again. Like, here it is again, the same characteristics. So whatever that is, we want to go ahead and release that so that you can evolve beyond it. So let's go ahead and start by connecting in. So I want to invite you to relax your body for a moment, close your eyes, take a breath, and I'm going to do the same. So I would like to call upon and invoke or bring forth the very highest vibration of source energy, which is love, to step into this clearing. I would like to ask that all of the beings who are working with us come forward with ease, that any negative or limiting themes, challenges, choices, or programs that need to be cleared, that you are ready to fully release, come through easily and effortlessly. And I'd like to ask that I remain neutral and clear on your behalf. And so it is. So I'm going to ask to please connect my High Self Committee to your High Self Committee, group of beings working with me and the group of beings working with you. And I just want to verify with my pendulum if I'm working with both, and I am. And so let's look at how long will it take to apply the prep to work list to me and my High Self Committee, you, your High Self. Let's apply it now. What is the lowest level of consciousness for anyone on my High Self Committee? Everybody working with me. Where is my soul's consciousness or level of awareness on behalf of anyone listening? Lowest level of consciousness for anyone on listeners' High Self Committee. And where is their soul's consciousness or level of awareness? Okay, so you're up there. So you're open, you're ready to let this go. Where's my ego, listener's ego? Any openings, holes, rips, tears, discarnate, separates, entities, or attachments, vortex or portal energies? No. So are listeners still holding on to a piece of that energy, a piece of the essence of former partners, former lovers? Yes. And what do we need to do in order to release that? We want to clear any energies of stubbornness about letting that go. And this could create experiences where you feel almost a little bit taken over or feel uncontrollable thinking about this person. Not all the time necessarily, but every once in a while, it depends how long it's been since you've been in the relationship with this person, but it could be a situation where you wake up one day and you feel like you can't stop thinking about this person. And that's really what we're releasing. So, where else is there a belief, perception, or judgment that listener has to keep the memory of this person or the relationship or both alive? Where is it located? It's rooted in the energy of unhappiness and emotional brutality, the disappointment, the deep disappointment, the energy of overwhelm, and the energy of helplessness. And so I want to ask if this is enough to clear it. Let's go ahead and release this and any addiction, any possessiveness around holding on to this. And what are we actually replacing that with? Let's download the vibration of receiving, being able to receive a new experience, being able to receive the energy of trust, trusting yourself, trusting life, that you can bring in a new experience. And so, to what degree has that been accomplished? Now, I want to just ask if there is any kind of addiction or possessiveness related to conflict, or even a habit of conflict. Yeah, it's a habit of conflict. So what that means is that there's something in your being where harmony, things being too harmonious, things going right, things going well, things being peaceful, doesn't feel normal to you. It's not what you're used to. Your cells are used to a certain amount of conflict, a certain amount of arguing, and it may not be that you are the one that's used to initiating that. It could be that there's something within you that will seek out partners who tend to criticize, who are dissatisfied. You feel like they're never happy. You feel like you can never make them happy. And I get this image of you running around almost like a waiter that feels like they're just in the weeds, trying to please this other person. And so what I want to know is where this comes from originally. And so this comes from the womb. This is energy that you experienced in the womb. It's related to ancestral lineage, and this is the vibration or the feeling of conflict. Conflict feels normal. So let's go ahead and release that for you. Let's release it for you when you were in the womb. Let's release it at age 2, age 4, age 6, age 9, age 11, age 13, through your teenage years especially. Where else are we going to release this? Where else is there a habit of conflict or conflict feeling normal? What about an addiction or a craving for conflict at the cellular level? Yes, so let's release that. Let's download the energy of sobriety or clear thinking, conscious thinking. Download empowerment and freedom, trust, and understanding. I want to release the perception for you at any level of your being that when you are in relationship, you become your mother. Let's go ahead and release that. I'm just going to watch that unwind. It's sort of like the spiral that's moving up from your being. We're just going to let that go. And let's release the belief that when you are in relationship, you are your brother or a sister or a father. And let's let that go. Where else is that located? Any other belief or perception? So to what degree can listener be who they are authentically? That means the full expression of your inner being, over 100%. Anything else about that? So let me just ask this. Is there any sort of block or limitation here for anyone listening to really know who they are on a deeper level? Yeah, so let's clear the self-doubt about that, the guilt, any energies of helplessness, any energies of unhappiness, and any energies of unworthiness. So there's a pattern here of deeply wanting to make a partner happy so that you can have the confirmation that you are worthy, that you are wonderful, that you are lovable, that you are worth being in relationship with. And we want to release that because you know what? You are. You're amazing. You're a beautiful being. You're a being of love. You have your unique soul blueprint. You have your unique soul essence. And you don't need to get that confirmation. It just is. I'm telling you right now, it just is. So let's clear all of the disappointment where you feel like you've been failed by a partner, where you failed in relationship, where you failed at trying to rectify relationships on any level of your being with mother and father through a romantic relationship. Let's release it. This is getting old, and we want you to be able to evolve beyond this. So while we're here, let's go ahead and release any kind of vow, contract, oath, agreement, or obligation that you are holding to try to heal or repair the wounds or the upset or the dysfunction of your mother, your father, your ancestral lineage by trying to play out similar themes in your own romantic relationships. Let's let that go. I want you to just take a nice deep breath. Release it whenever you're ready. This is in your chest area, your heart space, your solar plexus. Just let it go. You don't need to do that any longer. Now, in my own healing practice over the last 16 years, what I've found is a really common theme where people will come together with a possible partner and start to play out this really bumpy, discordant energy. And there's a belief on a subconscious or soul level that if I experience this negative or bumpy or discordant, narcissistic energy, abusive energy, I'm going to learn love. I'm going to learn compassion. I'm going to learn forgiveness. And what we want to do is bring in the understanding that you already know what these are, what these energies are. You don't have to keep playing out these negative, heart-wrenching, discordant experiences in order to strengthen these qualities. You are love. You have an innate capacity for compassion and forgiveness. And sometimes where this comes from is past life experiences where you felt that you were the perpetrator, you were the narcissist, you were the one that was creating hardship and abuse. And so there's a karmic belief here that there's an IOU and that you have to be the one to experience the negativity and the trauma. And so we want to free you from that because actually it's rooted in unforgiveness. And what we'll do as souls is we'll play this out over and over and over again, sometimes tens, hundreds, thousands of lifetimes until we experience it in every possible combination and at every possible angle. And it's just tired. You don't need to keep doing that. We want you to move forward into the vibration of health, of love, of connection, of worthiness, of feeling that you deserve the best, that you deserve someone who treats you with love and respect. And at the same time, we want you to move into the vibration of treating yourself with love and respect so that anyone who is bringing that energy into relationship with you, it doesn't even register. It's not even a part of your agenda. It is not on the map for you. It's just not a match, and you won't even entertain the idea of anything that feels demeaning or abusive at all. So let's look at this. Where do we have past experiences where there's unforgiveness held on self and a belief or perception that you have to keep playing out negative or discordant energies because of this unforgiveness. We're talking about thousands of lifetimes. So let me have a number in the ballpark of anyone listening. What are we looking at? Well, actually, we just dropped to hundreds when I put it that way. So if we look at the bulk of who will be listening, the highest percentage of who's listening, and the number of lifetimes, we're talking about 664 experiences. So what is the energy involved? What are the primary energies? The program of spiritual suicide, self-sacrifice, self-pity, unforgiveness of self, abuse of self, obligations on others to create conflict, negativity, helplessness, a roller coaster of emotions, on again, off again, on again, off again, hot and cold, energies of intolerance, energies of loneliness, isolation, feeling abandoned even when that person was in the room with you, maybe even when you're both in bed, just this deep feeling of abandonment. And so what I want to know is if we can go ahead and release that. Let's go ahead and release that right now. To what degree has that been resolved? Anything else that I need to look at? Where else is anyone listening running this belief that they deserve to experience discordant or upsetting or unsatisfying, disappointing? Disappointment is the word. So let's pull up all of these energies related to disappointment. Disappointment related to soulmates. So, what a joke, soulmate. Yeah, I thought this person was my soulmate, and they ended up being so disappointing. And so what we want to do is re-educate you on this subject of soulmate, because a soulmate is someone that you have been connected to many, many, many experiences. And the key to that soulmate energy is there's a familiarity. It just feels like you know the person. You meet them and it's like, oh, I just feel like I've known you forever. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right person for you to be in a relationship. It just means there's a familiarity, there's a soul connection, and so it's your job to move forward with your eyes wide open, noticing the person's behavior, their actions. Is what they say and what they do matching up? So soulmate doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be rainbows and unicorns and flowers. It means that there's a soul connection and you can be drawn to one another through your negative programming just as much as your positive programming. So let's look at where you might be attracting in toxic soulmates in general. It's a program of suffering for you. The belief that you have to learn and grow related to love through suffering. I need to know what suffering is so that I know what love is. So let's change that, because if you want to know what chocolate is, you're not going to go and eat a bunch of vanilla, right? You need to eat the chocolate. You want to know what love is. You want to be bathed in the vibration of love. You don't want to go for the opposite. So let's resolve that. And let's clear any guilt about receiving love. Let's clear any guilt or unworthiness about receiving love from a partner, from a coworker, from a friend, any kind of love. And I'm not talking about romantic love, just talking about the energy or the vibration of love. There are all sorts of different types of energies in the vicinity of love. The kindness, the compassion, the appreciation, the energy of self-esteem, the energy of feeling a purpose, a peace with love, that there's optimism, there's upliftment, the deep energy of involvement, the energy of understanding. Let's bring this in for you. All levels of your being and all the cells of your body and all areas of life. Now, there's one more thing that I'm hearing to clear for you right now, and this is where You may have a tendency to be attracting someone who we would call a fixer-upper. And so this is someone who is wounded, they've experienced trauma, and they're not far enough along in their own healing yet. They're still dealing with a lot of deep woundedness. They're not really ready to be in a relationship. And so it becomes kind of a Florence Nightingale or this kind of nursing energy where you're trying to come in and heal them or fix them because you see their potential. Wow, if this person could just love themselves and move forward with their life and start creating some goals, they would be like the perfect partner. And so what I want to do is release that for you, because although it's really lovely to be able to see someone's potential, it's easy to fall in love with their potential and wait and wait and wait and wait for them to step into it. And maybe that's not in the cards for them in this lifetime. Maybe it's not in the cards for them for another 5 or 10 or 15 years. And in the meantime, time is going by. You're not really in an equal and balanced relationship, and you're not really receiving. So let's clear energies of selfishness about this, overwhelm, energies of abuse, and energies of health abuse. Let's give you a little boost around this. Where else is the belief for anyone listening that they have to connect with a fixer-upper partner because they don't believe that there's really someone out there that is right for them? It's a program of frustration, it's a program of addictions, and it's a program of possessiveness. Possessiveness of what? Possessiveness related to wanting to change or make improvements in others. And so let's release that. To what degree has that been cleared? And let's release any obligations for you to be the person who comes along to help someone rehabilitate and step into their true self, and then they leave because they're in a different place and you're really not a match for them any longer. You are a match to their wounded self, to the self that needed the healing and the nursing. And now that they're in a new expression, it's just not a match any longer. So let's go ahead and let that go. To what degree has that been resolved? Now, where does anyone listening have a block to receiving a partner, a soulmate, someone who is really a match, who was ready to evolve and learn and grow with them? Where do we need to go to clear that? It's clear blocks to receiving, clear blocks to fun, clear blocks to forgiveness. Let's clear blocks to wisdom and clear blocks to love. To what degree has that been resolved? Is there anything more I need to do? So what is it that I need to download in these final moments? Let's download the energy of receiving. We want to move you from this place of feeling like you have to go out and find it and interview 25 people to see if it's the right person, to being open to receiving, to allowing the universe, allowing source to bring that person into your life. And that doesn't mean that you give up on being out there socializing and you just decide to sit on the couch and binge watch Netflix. It means that you just stop putting all of the angst and the anxiety and the frustration. You're making it a second job to find the right partner. We want to loosen that up and let you just relax into knowing that you're like a little magnet and you've just been magnetized to some experiences that you're ready to let go of, and you're ready to be magnetized to something new. And this is why we want to bring in this energy of receiving. And so to what degree has that been downloaded? And is there anything left? So let's go ahead and apply the mop-up list. I want to thank my high self, listeners' high self, everyone working with us, bringing forth light and eradicating darkness, limitation and fear. And so it is. Thank you so much for listening to this clearing today. I hope that you feel lighter. I hope that you feel refreshed, you feel more expansive. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe and click that little bell so that when I release a new recording, you get the message. Have a beautiful week, and I will be back with another clearing soon. Bye for now.